comparisons still continue, even after every fact we can throw at
Look, the fact that people still want to compare LeBron to Jordan, 16 plus years later, almost 17 years later, I don't get it. I mean, from day one, I never saw any inkling of Jordan in
none,
LeBron
none,
ever,
none.
ever. I mean, the two games are totally, vastly different. At
Yes.
least with Magic, you have a similar blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that comparison, I can see that,
Yeah.
and
Totally.
I've always said, he basically the dude is a hybrid of really of Magic and Pippen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, LeBron is not the defensive player that Pippen is, because we're talking about one of the
Oh,
top five defensive players of all time in number 33 of the Bulls.
how many times have you seen Scottie Pippen just come out of nowhere and pick off a pass to start a break?
I've always said this about Pippen. He is the best. I'm not even going to say one of the best. He is the best defender I've ever seen in anticipating an entry pass.
Yes.
He would know how to defend the person who's going to receive the pass, and without fouling, always get the jump. And the next thing you know, they're running down the other
Yep.
side of the court.
They're going
And I'm
the other
like,
way. They're going the other.
and I mean, and even now, I mean, shoot, I mean, back in the '90s when I saw it, I couldn't believe it. Now, 20 plus years later, 25 years later, 30 years later, I still can't believe it. I'm like, man, his anticipatory ways of defending somebody was just off the charts.
And the wildest
And
thing
to this day, I've
is,
never seen it.
he just got better every year
He did. He did.
because he does
So,
something
yeah.
LeBron doesn't do. That's study your opponent.
hmm So when I say that I see a little bit of Pimpin in LeBron, it definitely isn't on defense. The lone exception of when LeBron decides to play defense, he'll give you the glorious defensive play like
Yep.
the chase down block. Who I may add, the best to do it was not LeBron. It was Akeem
It was
Olajuwon.
Akeem Olajuwon. It was Akeem Olajuwon. In a heartbeat. You get no argument from me. I love Akeem Olajuwon.
Yeah, he was
Akeem
the
will,
best to ever do the chase down block.
will chase you down, and before you even think of getting a layup, swat.
Yeah, off to the third row. Yeah, I and I saw that with my own two eyes, and I'm not just talking about on the TV screen. I was in the summit when he did that one time. My jaw dropped because I'm thinking, because I think it was on the team, and and so Strickland steals the ball, and I'm thinking, okay, this should be an easy 2 points because it's a point guard. That's what's going to catch him.
He caught him.
The dude went up to lay it up, and he barely got out of his hand. Next thing you know, you see the ball sail into the fifth row. I'm like, good God, I never thought I would see a center be that fast. And people just laud that, and I'm like, no, he's not even the best to do it.
No.
No. Chase down block. That's Olajuwon all day.
That's Akeem Olajuwon all day. and I
But-
love Akeem Olajuwon from his days with the Houston Cougars
Yep.
to his days with the Houston Rockets.
He was awesome.
Okay, I absolutely adored watching him play and watching him evolve as a player. That dream shake.
One of the ever seen.
Yes.
Still to this day.
Yes.
And I'm like, wow. And he knew how to shake every single guy. It didn't matter if you were the brute like Shaq, or if you were finesse like David Robinson, or if you were just a statue like Mark Eaton. It didn't matter. He just knew how to get that shot off, and I'm like, how?
How about
those three could play three different positions?
Yes.
At the same time on the same team, because I could see David being a small forward, and it wouldn't be awkward. I could see it.
It wouldn't be. It wouldn't.
I could totally see it. And you could switch. You could switch Shaq and Akeem, power forward and center.
Yep.
So when I say LeBron is like Pippen, I'm definitely not saying fan. I'm saying when Pippen had to be the point forward,
Mm-hmm.
that is basically what LeBron has modeled. He's modeled that. So
Yes.
I see LeBron's game as a hybrid of those two. Of course, Pippen and Matt. Unfortunately, he doesn't even polish the shoes of either one.
No, he doesn't. And I did my preview before I brought you on the show. Thanks to the folks that are tuning us in either via Facebook Live or YouTube or through our audio partners, including Full Press Coverage and Arena Sportsnet, our flagship station. Cole Johnson joining me here. There's going to be so much hype and hullabaloo, and it just makes me sick. It makes me absolutely sick that they're putting this much hype. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. I've said it on your program. You've heard me say it on mine. It makes me sick that they're putting this much hype over a person who, to me, hasn't proven a doggone thing.
Well, okay. All you have to do is sell a couple, be gregarious enough to the media, and win a chip,
mm-hmm.
and you'll be fine. You'll get the godlike mythical figure coverage. And
he hasn't done a doggone thing.
And the funny thing is, we now can say that he is not the greatest champion in his own era. So, I mean,
Dare I bring up the name Kobe Bean Bryant?
I mean,
dare I bring up the name Tim Duncan? Hell, want to stay in this era? And I know this is going to get on a lot of people's nerves. Dare I bring up the name Wardell Stephen Curry II?
The government. Dang. And that's the scary part. I think people want to, and there's a lot of sentiment of, should we consider Stephen Curry to be the best player of this era over LeBron? And there's a lot of hesitancy and people saying, well, okay, that's a blasphemous thought. All because, in my estimation, all because Curry is not your dunk Sports Center highlight.
Right.
He's more LeBron James.
Yeah.
But since his game is all about the three,
which has revolutionized the game, by the way, folks.
Here's the funny thing, and I'm a bookmark that. Since it's just that, we cannot even come close to considering his game to be that on the same level as LeBron. But the thing is, and they would be right, but they'd be right in the same in this instance of what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
Curry has revolutionized the game. He's changed the game. LeBron did not change the game. Now, people could say, well, LeBron's changed the game because he's shown that he's a big man that can handle he's a big man handle the rock. We just talked about one who did.
Magic Johnson.
And we can think of another one. In fact, Mr. Anthony Hardaway.
Scottie Pippen.
And then we talked about Scottie Pippen. I mean, a 6'8" guy who, yeah, he looks like he's a built rock solid guy. This is not the first time we've seen a guy that the rock like a point guard.
Mm-mm.
This is not the first guy that we've seen that's that tall that actually has court vision like a point guard. So he hasn't changed the game in that realm.
No.
Stephen Curry has, because we never even thought a person could simply change the game by being a threat to hit a three-pointer from half court.
This is what I've said about Stephen Curry, and I will continue to say it. He has taken an anomaly and turned it into a weapon.
If you don't believe me, just look from 2015 to now. I mean, and I've said this, my brother, on and off air. That team, the Warriors, even when Durant was there, it's better when you have a more free-flowing offense because you have that threat of a guy who could pull up literally from 30 or 35. Because it's like, oh
Easy.
man, I got to pick up Steph so far from the rim. What does that do? Well, that takes one defender away, and it's and the other four could just run underneath, and then you have the proclivity of, well, we may have to double Steph. Well, then you have four guys that Steph could go to versus the three other defenders is on the floor.
Yep.
Advantage Warriors, and that's how it's been the last 5 years. So, and that has never happened before.
Never.
Stephon decided to say, you know what, I'm just going to blow the lid off of defenses by shooting 35, 40 footers, and then give an understanding of, if you don't pick me up at half court, I will chunk it from half court and be nothing but net and do it. So, we're talking about a revolutionary figure here that gets so disrespected and disregarded,
and it's gonna continue this year because they won't have Clay until after the All-Star break. They're brushing off D'Angelo Russell, who I think is going to thrive in this Warrior system. The Warriors have to
growing.
Yes. Thank you. The Warriors, have to deal with a lot of injuries the first 2 months of the season. But, folks, they're still the Golden State Warriors. They're still the defending 5-time Western Conference champions.
And I'm about to mention something that as a fan, hurts my heart, but hey, this is just cold hard facts. We're off tonight.
Yes.
The Warriors played a game in Houston 5 months ago, where the cat, I'm talking about Curry, didn't score a single solitary point. In fact, it was so embarrassing he missed a gimme layup.
Yep.
Now you would think, well, that would demoralize anybody, and it probably demoralized him to a degree. But
he got mad.
But basically he channeled that, got angry, and what happens? 33 points in the second half, 23 of them in the fourth quarter, and it was done solely by him. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't he had help from Durant. It wasn't that he had help from, because he couldn't. He was injured. It wasn't that he had help from Clay, because Clay did his job in the first half and he was getting some rest in the fourth quarter, which he deserved because he was carrying that load in the first half
and kept him in the ball game.
The whole way. It wasn't from Iguodala, at least on the offensive end. Definitely on the defensive end, it was. Well, Curry was doing it.
Iggy knew what he was doing. Iggy said, "You know what? We know I know Steph's about to go off. I'm going to slide over here on the defensive end and take care of business."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we can throw shade all we want. This is the same dude that put 23 in the playoffs, because people say that Curry is not a player.
Oh, you've
23 in the 23 in the playoffs in an elimination game to get a team out of there in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
So you cannot tell me this guy is not a player. You can't tell me that.
You can't tell me he's not a clutch. You can't tell me he's not a clutch player. You know why people are saying Curry's not a clutch player? They go back to the series, the World Championship Series, and yes, I'm saying that correctly, against Toronto.
Yeah, back in 2016. Oh,
no,
this year?
I'm throwing 2016. This year? I'm throwing 2016 out the window, and I have my reasons for that.
Wow.
Yeah, this year. I'm going back to
Okay.
2019 when the Warriors simply ran into a better team.
And that would and to me, if you're going to say, okay, this is proof that Curry can't do it in the clutch, wrong series to convince me of that. Because to him, the Warriors wouldn't have been in the series at all.
Exactly.
They wouldn't have been in the series at all. So no. If people say that to you, yeah, laugh in their face and say, if it wasn't for number 30 in the must blue, it wasn't going to happen. They wouldn't have pushed it to 6 and wouldn't have had a chance with his shot
to push
get
it
to
to 7.
A 7th game.
To push it to 7. They ran into a better team in the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah. And that happened.
I can live with that. I cannot live with the chicanery that went on in 2016. You know it. I know it.
Unfortunately, though, for you, my friend, that is the series that most people will point to and say, "You see, 73-9, second-time MVP, and look what happens. He does a vanishing act. He must have been a magician. He disappeared from that series, especially in games 5, 6, and 7.
No, he didn't disappear. The NBA took him out. He didn't disappear. The NBA took the Warriors off their game because LeBron James decided.
And then they fortified this argument by the finals or World Championship Series before, when they played the same team, the Cavs. They were down 2-1, and Curry, being the team player, it's like, okay, I'm the point guard, team player. My shot isn't falling like it normally does, so let's see if we can generate the offense elsewhere.
But isn't that what a point guard is supposed to do?
I believe that is what a point guard is.
Isn't that what a guard is supposed to do?
I believe I just said what a point guard is supposed to do. And people think that, well, all Curry knows how to do is shoot. No, that's not what he knows how to do.
No.
And so he gets penalized by an NBA fan because he actually was a point guard in that situation, doing the right thing, trying to find the right guys.
And he thought like a team player. He thought like a team player.
Mm-hmm.
Come on,
thought like a team player. And then they rub it in his face, saying, "Well, look, you were the number one player in your team, yet you had your sixth man win the Finals MVP."
That's been the Warriors' mantra since they were built. Who cares who gets the shine as long as we win?
And that's my point. The Curry is like, and the trophy I want to hold up as long as O'Brien. I don't give a crap. I hold up the Russell in Finals MVP award.
Yep,
that's cool and all. That's cool and all, but I want to hold that Larry O'Brien trophy in the air. I mean, that's just how he thinks. So
and that's how he's thought the entire time he's been in the NBA.
But the fact that you have NBA fans just try to rub it in his face and say, well, Curry is nothing because he should do Jordan-like numbers, 36 and 6 in the finals.
And did Jordan not trust his teammates during his entire dynastic run? Did he not trust? Matter of fact, on two occasions, 1993, 1997,
Jim Paxson, Steve Kerr.
And by the way, didn't the sharpshooter in 1997 become a championship head coach? Of course, I'm referring to Steve Kerr.
Yeah. 5 times as a player, 3 times as a coach now.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. You can't tell me Stephen Curry is not a clutch player. I mean, yeah, they're going to lean on 2016, but at the same time, the NBA had like 2 gigantic hands in that piece of chicanery. Okay? They had 2 gigantic hands in that piece of chicanery.
Oh, and then on top of it, of course, they'll say, well, Curry, you got those 2 other rings because you had number 35 playing with you. And I'm thinking, Durant, yes. Durant, yes, he's a better skilled, overall skill player.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not an insult to Curry. That is an indictment to the rest of the league, too. I mean, Durant's a better overall player than just about everybody in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I can only think of maybe 1, possibly 2 who are better. But and neither one of those names is LeBron James. But I've said this on your air. I'll say it again on your air. That was made courtesy of a guy who wears number 30, who wears it in blue and mustard, who said, you know something? If we need to get him to get us to the championship, cool. You know what I'll do? I'll sacrifice a few shots of my own.
Mm-hmm.
I won't chuck up as many because I want to see my brother here, our new brother here, cook.
Yeah.
That's what a champion does. And I mentioned that that's what Wade did back in Miami in 2010 when he brought forth Bosh and LeBron on his team.
Mm-hmm. That's what MJ did in welcoming Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, because he didn't. Yeah, because Jordan had a propensity to actually play down low too and get boards. He didn't have to do that anymore.
Nope.
So
the best damn rebound forward on his team.
So I mean, the thought that you have to have these grandiose numbers to prove that you are a great player, to me, just shows how infantile understanding is of the average NBA fan.
I'm going to borrow
Stephon
something.
Curry's a champion. Period.
I'm going to borrow something that you on when you do your On the Daily Show. Email NBA fan. Subject of email, champion. Body of email. Listen, Stephen Curry is a champion 3 times over. Has he won a Finals MVP? No. Does he need to win one? No.
No.
He doesn't need to win a Finals MVP. He knows what his role with the team is. He knows what Klay Thompson needs to do. He knows what his teammates need to do. And I still say if any team will challenge the Clippers for supremacy in the West, they wear mustard and blue. They're opening a new arena. They still have number 30 breathing from them. And when Klay Thompson comes back and the Splash Brothers are whole, the NBA needs to watch out. So enjoy this respite, NBA fan, while you can. Because when number 11 gets back and the players are whole again off of their injuries, it's over. At least until the Western Conference playoffs. Signed, Brian Snow, a.k.a. the Snowman. SnowmanInTheMorning.com.
He got off an email take. Oh, that's brilliant.
I had to do it. I had to do it. I had to do it. What inspired that was your email about DeMarcus Cousins 2 years ago when the Warriors signed him.
Yeah, and people were belly aching. Well, why couldn't Cousins sign with us? Well, go look to the 29 other owners, and I'm sorry, governors and their general managers.
And we'll touch those terms another time.
Definitely.
We'll definitely touch those terms another time. Cole Johnson of Cole Sports joining me. As always, my brother, I love you, and thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
I love you too, and thank you for the time. I enjoyed it as always.
And on that note, I'm getting out of here because I'm kind of hungry and I need to eat something, and I need to kiss somebody very to me. She's looking across from me with a big old smile as she works on her project, and I'm going to work on mine. From the heart, I hope you all enjoyed this show as I enjoyed bringing it to you. I seem to say that a lot during the broadcast. Friday on the Community Radio Network and Arena Sportsnet Carolina, it's the Clayton Comets taking on Cleveland High School. You'll hear it live beginning at 6:30 Eastern Daylight Time. 6:30 Eastern Daylight Time. Tomorrow, wrap up Game 1 of the World Series. Who got the pitching advantage, Garrett Cole or Max Scherzer? Either way, it's going to be a great, great game. Catch the podcast every day, 3 p.m. on your favorite app. Until tomorrow, have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. And always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, then they are not big enough. Dream big, do bigger. I am, and I hope y'all are too. Till tomorrow.